Hey everybody, Eric Jackson here again. This is part 3 of our intro to kayak fishing. Intro number 1, video number 1, we covered all the different types of kayak, for example. We also covered how to get in and out of your boat. In number 2, we talked about strokes, how to maneuver your kayak, effective ways to paddle forward, how to stand up and get down in your boat. In this video, we're going to cover fishing specific tips. These are things that I've learned over the years that have made a big difference in my kayak fishing. Let's start from the beginning. Number 1, when you're fishing in a kayak, fishing downwind is easier than fishing upwind. If you're fishing upwind, let's say you want to fish in this direction and it's against the wind, every time you cast, the wind is going to drift you back. You're going to have to paddle back to the spot you started at and then go further. If the wind is blowing that way and you fish that way, you can put the paddle down, you can stand up, and you should be able to just fish non-stop downwind. So downwind fishing is easier than upwind fishing. If you've got a lot of wind, let's say the wind is towards the shore, in many cases, you'll just go ahead and get against the shore, put your foot on the shore, and you'll fish parallel to the shore, and that'll make life easy. You'll be able to lock yourself down. Now, if you're in shallow water, you can use the power pole micro anchor, of which, of course, the Tyr is outfitted to receive that very quickly. And then that way you can power pole down, fish, and continue on. So downwind paddling or downwind fishing is the way to go. So let's say you're fishing Florida, for example. They're shallow throughout. I'll start on one end of the lake and I'll fish for 3 hours and never have to paddle anywhere. Literally just let the wind do the work. I'll power pole down, fish, fish some cover, whatever that cover is, lily pads, hydrilla, whatever, reeds, power pole up, drift a little way, fish, power pole down. Unbelievable. It is really like a very neat and fun way to fish. So downwind is number 1. Number 2, we talked about it in the earlier ones. I like to minimize the amount of equipment. So in this particular case, I've got a swim jig for top water, or near the surface, down to mid-level, and a finesse jig to be on the bottom. Now I'm sitting here at a sandy beach. I'm not right where we're going to catch fish right now. But if I were to paddle upstream, that would cover the basics. I also like to keep my soft plastics within reach, either right behind me or right under my seat. So my tackle box, soft plastics are right here. Pliers, scissors, line cutters, right here in front of you as well. Paddle. What do you do with your paddle? Okay, when if you're not fishing and it's not too windy, you just put your paddle right here. Super easy. If it's windy, you put it parallel and along the boat this way. That way the wind isn't hitting it and it's not rolling around and making noise. That's very helpful. All right, what about casting? If you remember, I said no vertical rod holders. You know those rod holders that hold your poles like this? Yeah, don't like them. Don't use them, and I recommend you don't use them. Why? Because you want to be able to cast. See this rod tip? This rod tips up a little bit. If I move it back, it's out of the way. The only thing I've got in the way right now is my GoPro, and that's because we're filming this. And that GoPro is still higher or lower than my cast, so I can still do a side cast. I can skip, no problem.